IND vs NZ, first test, India looks to continue unbeaten home run against struggling New Zealand as rain threat looms. With India being unbeaten in a test against New Zealand at home since 1988 and riding the high of 18 consecutive test series wins in its backyard, little is likely to change. It is not in your face, there are no geopolitical overtones or jingoistic advertising in its lead-up. Yet, the India vs New Zealand rivalry, if it may be termed so, has more feel to it than a contrived fixture in an ICC Future Tours program, FTP, that is bursting at the seams. It's largely owing to the lore of the Kiwis being the revered men in blues bogey team in ICC tournaments that have fed into the mystique of this matchup. When the three-match test series between the sides begins at the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium here on Wednesday, India's World Test Championship, WTC, final defeat in 2021 will most likely be the reference point if any semblance of antagonism is to be dredged up. The summit clash of that inaugural edition of the WTC became a rallying point for the "knee skies can finish first" narrative when Kane Williamson's men lifted the mace. It seemed to mark an inflection point in sport and pop culture, and perhaps even an overthrow of the established order. Yet, 1.5 WTC cycles later, with just 7 wins in 21 tests since that title win, the Kiwis are languishing in the longest format. Meanwhile, the engine room of the sport, India, has propelled itself into the stratosphere. On the brink of securing its third consecutive spot in the WTC final, India defied the elements and the clock to reset the template of tests with an epochal 8-wicket win in Kanpur that completed a 2-0 sweep of Bangladesh. New Zealand, on the other hand, lost 37 of its 40 wickets to spin in a 0-2 series defeat in Sri Lanka. While one is evolving at warp speed, the other seems to be stagnating and falling to its well-documented frailties. With India being unbeaten in a test against New Zealand at home since 1988 and riding the high of 18 consecutive test series wins in its backyard, little is likely to change. The fact that Williamson, New Zealand's top scorer in this WTC cycle and responsible for 4 of the 5 centuries to come off for Kiwis' bat in the same period, will miss the first test due to a groin injury will only add to the visitors' woes. At 31, a 16-test matches old Will Young will replace Williamson at number 3, while Rachin Ravindra will be expected to do the bulk of the scoring in his 10th test match. Moreover, the 32-year-old opener Tom Latham will front up as full-time captain and become the third skipper in the format in less than 2 years, taking over from an out-of-form Tim Southee, who will be tasked with blooding in a fledgling pace unit. All these point to a bungled succession plan. Also read, IND vs NZ, Latham embraces leadership role. For more on this story, visit the news article link.